Russia, a land of vast plains, towering forests and icy tundra. This immense country stretches across 11 time zones, encompassing a diverse array of landscapes and climates. From the frozen expanse of Siberia to the rolling hills of the Ural Mountains, Russia's natural beauty is as varied as it is breathtaking. But beyond its physical grandeur lies a spiritual heartland. The soul of Russia is deeply rooted in its religious traditions, which have shaped its culture and history for centuries. For centuries, the Russian Orthodox Church has been intertwined with the nation's identity, its onion-domed cathedrals dotting the landscape like celestial guardians. These architectural marvels, with their golden domes and intricate frescoes, stand as symbols of faith and resilience. Through turbulent times of czars and revolutions, the Orthodox faith has remained a constant, a source of solace and strength for millions. The Church has weathered political upheavals, wars and societal changes, always providing a spiritual anchor for the Russian people. Even during the Soviet era's enforced atheism, the embers of faith flickered, kept alive in the hearts and homes of believers. Despite the state's efforts to suppress religious practices, many Russians continued to observe their faith in secret, passing down traditions and beliefs to future generations. Today, Russia is experiencing a religious resurgence. After decades of suppression, the Orthodox Church is once again flourishing, with increasing numbers of people attending services and participating in religious activities. Churches are being rebuilt, monasteries revived. The restoration of these sacred sites is not just about preserving history, it is a testament to the enduring power of faith and the desire to reconnect with spiritual roots. The faithful are returning, seeking solace and meaning in a rapidly changing world. In a society marked by technological advancements and shifting values, many Russians are turning to their religious heritage for guidance and comfort. But within this spiritual landscape, a new dynamic is emerging, one that is reshaping the religious landscape of Russia. The country is not only witnessing a revival of Orthodox Christianity, but also a significant growth in other faiths. Islam, a faith with deep historical roots in the region, is experiencing a remarkable resurgence of its own. With a growing Muslim population, the presence of Islam is becoming more prominent, contributing to the rich tapestry of Russia's religious life. This growth, fueled by demographic shifts and a renewed sense of religious identity, has led to a complex and evolving interplay between these two great faiths. The coexistence of Orthodox Christianity and Islam in Russia is a testament to the country's diverse cultural and religious heritage. The story of faith in Russia is being rewritten. It is a narrative that encompasses a multitude of beliefs and practices, reflecting the country's rich and varied spiritual landscape. It's a story of change, of challenge, and of the enduring power of belief. As Russia navigates the complexities of modern life, its religious communities continue to play a vital role in shaping its identity and values. It's within this context, in a nation grappling with its spiritual identity, that a sermon delivered by a prominent archbishop would reverberate far beyond the walls of his cathedral. His words, echoing through the hearts of the faithful, remind us of the profound impact that faith can have on a nation's soul. Archbishop Dmitry Smirnoff was a figure deeply respected within the Russian Orthodox Church. His presence commanded attention, and his words carried the weight of centuries of tradition. He was not just a religious leader, he was a symbol of continuity in a rapidly changing world. Known for his staunch adherence to traditional values and his unwavering commitment to his faith, Archbishop Smirnoff was a beacon of stability. His life was a testament to the enduring power of the Orthodox Church, a living link to the past that many found comforting in uncertain times. He was a prominent voice in Russian Orthodoxy, a figure whose influence extended far beyond the walls of his church. His sermons were broadcasted, his writings widely read, and his opinions sought on matters of faith and morality. His sermons were often fiery, filled with passion and conviction, resonating deeply with those seeking spiritual guidance in a world often perceived as adrift. His words were not just heard, they were felt, stirring the hearts and minds of his listeners. He was a staunch defender of Orthodox teachings, a vocal critic of what he saw as the encroaching secularism of the West. To him, the preservation of traditional values was not just a duty, but a sacred mission. His words carried weight, his pronouncements scrutinized by believers and skeptics alike. He was a man whose voice could not be ignored, whether one agreed with him or not. When Archbishop Smirnoff stepped up to the pulpit on that particular Sunday, his congregation expected to hear his usual pronouncements on faith and morality. They anticipated his familiar rhetoric, his unwavering stance on the issues that mattered most to them. They expected to be challenged, to be inspired, to be reassured of the enduring power of their beliefs. They came seeking the comfort of the familiar, the reassurance that their faith was a steadfast anchor in a turbulent world. What they did not expect, however, was a sermon that would leave them both moved and deeply unsettled. Archbishop Smirnoff, known for his unwavering adherence to tradition, delivered a message that was both a reflection on the past and a bold vision for the future. Archbishop Smirnoff was a man of his time, deeply rooted in his faith, yet acutely aware of the changing world around him. He understood that the Church could not remain an island, isolated from the currents of modern life. He understood the anxieties, the uncertainties that plagued his flock. He knew that the world outside the church doors was changing rapidly, and that these changes brought both challenges and opportunities. And he knew that to address them, he had to speak not just to their spiritual needs, but to the realities of their lives. He had to bridge the gap between the eternal truths of the faith and the ever-evolving landscape of modern existence. What he offered that day was not a retreat into a dogma, but a bold, even unexpected embrace of the changing face of faith in Russia. He spoke of the need for the Church to engage with the world, to be a force for good in the midst of change, to offer not just solace, but also guidance in navigating the complexities of modern life. Archbishop Smirnoff's message was clear. The Church must evolve, must adapt, must find new ways to connect with the faithful. It must be a living, breathing entity, capable of responding to the needs of its people in real time. His words were a call to action, a challenge to the faithful to embrace the future without losing sight of their roots. It was a message that resonated deeply, leaving the congregation with much to ponder as they left the church that day. Archbishop Smirnoff's legacy is one of tradition and change, a testament to the enduring power of faith and the necessity of adaptation. His voice continues to echo, a reminder that the true strength of the Church lies not in its ability to resist change, but in its capacity to embrace it while staying true to its core values. In the end, Archbishop Smirnoff was not just a voice of tradition, but a harbinger of change, guiding his flock through the complexities of modern life with wisdom, compassion, and unwavering faith. The church was packed, as it always was when Archbishop Smirnoff spoke. The faithful gathered, filling every pew, their faces a mix of reverence and expectation. The grandeur of the church, with its high ceilings and intricate stained glass windows, added to the solemnity of the occasion. The air was thick with incense and anticipation as he began his sermon. The scent of the incense, a blend of frankincense and myrrh, wafted through the air, creating an atmosphere that was both sacred and serene. The congregation sat in silence, their attention fully captured by the presence of the Archbishop. He spoke of the challenges facing Russia, of the erosion of traditional values. His voice, steady and commanding, echoed through the hallowed halls. He painted a picture of a nation at a crossroads, grappling with the forces of modernity and the loss of its cultural heritage. He spoke with a familiar fervor, his voice rising and falling with the cadence of a practiced orator. Then his tone shifted. The change was subtle at first, a slight softening of his voice, a hint of something unexpected. He began to speak of Islam, a faith often viewed with suspicion and apprehension by some within the Orthodox community. His words were carefully chosen, each one carrying weight and intention. The congregation listened intently, their curiosity piqued by this unexpected turn in the sermon. He spoke of its growing presence in Russia, not with alarm, but with a measured acknowledgement of its reality. He described the Muslim community as an integral part of the nation's fabric, contributing to its diversity and richness. His words were a call to recognize and respect this reality. His words hung in the air, heavy with significance. The congregation, usually so responsive, was now silent, absorbing the gravity of his message. The Archbishop's voice, filled with sincerity, resonated deeply with those present. He spoke of the Prophet Muhammad, not as a distant figure from another faith, but as a man who preached compassion and justice, values shared by both Christians and Muslims. He highlighted the commonalities between the two faiths, emphasizing the shared principles of love, mercy, and justice. He urged his congregation to look beyond stereotypes and prejudices to see the humanity in their Muslim neighbors. He spoke of the importance of building bridges of understanding and cooperation, rather than walls of division and mistrust. He reminded them that, at their core, both faiths shared a belief in one God, a belief in compassion, a belief in the dignity of all human beings. He spoke of the need for mutual respect and understanding, for recognizing the divine spark in every individual, regardless of their faith. A hush fell over the congregation. The weight of his words settled over them, prompting a moment of collective introspection. The silence was profound, a testament to the impact of his message. Many were visibly moved, tears welling up in their eyes. The Archbishop's words had touched a deep chord, stirring emotions that had long been buried. The sight of tears in the eyes of the faithful was a powerful indication of the sermon's profound effect. Some were surprised, even shocked, by the Archbishop's words. They had come expecting a reaffirmation of their beliefs, not a challenge to them. The unexpected nature of his message left many in a state of contemplation and reflection. This was not the condemnation of another faith they might have expected, but a call for understanding, for empathy. The Archbishop's message was one of unity and compassion, urging his congregation to embrace their Muslim neighbors with open hearts and minds. It was a moment of profound dissonance for many, a challenge to their deeply held assumptions. The sermon had planted a seed of doubt, prompting them to question their preconceived notions and biases. This sermon, delivered with such heartfelt conviction, planted a seed of introspection, a seed that would continue to grow long after the Archbishop's words faded away. The impact of his message would be felt for days, weeks, and even months to come, as the congregation grappled with the profound truths he had shared. In the days that followed, the sermon became the topic of conversation in homes, workplaces, and community gatherings. People debated and discussed the Archbishop's words, sharing their thoughts and feelings with one another. The sermon had sparked a dialogue, a much-needed conversation about faith, understanding, and coexistence. Slowly, the seeds of the Archbishop's message began to bear fruit. Interfaith activities and dialogues increased as people sought to build bridges and foster understanding. The community began to come together in new and meaningful ways, united by a shared commitment to compassion and justice. For Archbishop Smirnoff, the sermon was a moment of personal reflection as well. He knew the path he had chosen was not an easy one, but he believed deeply in the power of his message. He hoped that his words would inspire others to look beyond their differences and find common ground. As the sun set on the church that evening, a sense of peace and hope filled the air. The Archbishop's sermon had left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of the faithful, a reminder of the power of compassion and understanding in a world often divided by fear and prejudice. The congregation left the church that day with a renewed sense of purpose, their hearts and minds opened to new possibilities. The Archbishop's words had challenged them, but they had also inspired them to strive for a more inclusive and compassionate world. The church bells rang out, their sound echoing through the streets, a symbol of hope and unity. The sermon that shook the faithful had also united them, reminding them of the power of faith, love, and understanding.
Dmitry Smirnoff, a prominent figure in the Russian Orthodox Church, once made a striking observation that would leave a lasting impact on him. He was deeply moved by the sight of Muslims at prayer. He saw their discipline, their unwavering commitment, and their profound devotion to their faith. This experience sparked a deep reflection on the values inherent in Islam, values that he had not fully appreciated before. It led him to consider their potential impact on Russian society, a society that could benefit from such dedication and unity. Smirnoff was particularly struck by the orderliness of Muslim prayers, the way they conducted themselves with such precision and respect. He saw rows of worshippers standing shoulder to shoulder, united in their purpose and faith. They moved in unison, their synchronized movements a testament to their shared faith and collective spirit. This sense of unity and purpose left a lasting impression on him, one that he would carry with him for a long time. It prompted him to look beyond religious differences and appreciate the power of faith to bring people together. This encounter became a starting point for Smirnoff to explore the values embedded within Islam, values that he found to be deeply meaningful. He began to see beyond the stereotypes and misconceptions that often clouded his understanding. He recognized the deep-rooted principles that guided the lives of Muslims, principles of compassion, community, and faith. This led him to a profound realization. These values had the potential to shape the future of Russia in a positive way, fostering a more inclusive and understanding society. Smirnoff's observations extended beyond the mosque. He noticed the emphasis on charity within Muslim communities. He saw Muslims actively helping those in need, regardless of their background. This commitment to social responsibility resonated with him. He observed that this generosity wasn't driven by a desire for recognition. It stemmed from a genuine sense of compassion and duty towards others. This selfless approach to giving left a deep impression on Smirnoff. He recognized it as a core value that strengthened the fabric of society. Smirnoff saw this generosity as more than just financial assistance. It represented a deep commitment to social justice and community well-being. This resonated with his own beliefs about the importance of caring for the less fortunate. Smirnoff's observations led him to another important realization. He saw a strong sense of moral integrity within Muslim communities. He attributed this to their deep connection with their Creator. This foundation, he believed, fostered a strong moral compass. This moral compass, Smirnoff observed, translated into everyday actions. He saw honesty, trustworthiness, and respect for others as common traits. These values, he believed, were essential for a healthy and thriving society. Smirnoff's recognition of these values challenged the prevailing narratives about Islam in Russia. He presented a different perspective, one rooted in observation and respect. This shift in perspective was crucial for fostering greater understanding and tolerance between different religious groups. Smirnoff's observations culminated in a bold statement. He declared that the future of Russia belonged to Muslims. This wasn't a demographic prediction, but a testament to the strength of the values he had observed. He believed these values would resonate deeply within Russian society. This statement, while controversial to some, reflected Smirnoff's belief in the transformative power of faith. He saw the dedication, discipline, and moral integrity of Muslims as qualities that could revitalize Russia. He envisioned a future where these values would contribute to a stronger, more compassionate society. Smirnoff's words were a call to action, urging Russians to look beyond stereotypes and recognize the positive contributions of their Muslim compatriots. He believed that embracing these values would lead to a more harmonious and prosperous future for all Russians. Section 5. Beyond Misconceptions. Understanding Islam through dialogue. Smirnoff's observations highlighted the importance of interfaith dialogue. He believed that understanding between different faiths was crucial for a harmonious society. He encouraged open conversations to dispel misconceptions and foster mutual respect. Smirnoff recognized that ignorance often bred fear and prejudice. He believed that by engaging in open and honest conversations, people could overcome their differences and build bridges of understanding. This approach, he argued, was essential for creating a more tolerant and inclusive society. He emphasized the need to move beyond superficial encounters and engage in meaningful dialogue. This involved listening with an open mind, asking questions, and seeking to understand the perspectives of others. Through such interactions, he believed, common ground could be found and mutual respect could flourish. Section 6. Challenging Stereotypes, Disassociating Islam from Terrorism. Smirnoff was acutely aware of the negative stereotypes associated with Islam, particularly the pervasive and harmful linking of it to terrorism. He vehemently rejected this association, emphasizing that terrorism had no religion and that such acts of violence were committed by individuals, not faiths. He called for a clear distinction between the peaceful teachings of Islam, which promote harmony and compassion, and the actions of a few extremists who distort these teachings for their own agendas. Smirnoff argued that conflating Islam with terrorism was not only inaccurate, but also dangerous, as it perpetuated harmful myths and misconceptions. This conflation fueled prejudice, discrimination, and violence against innocent individuals who were unfairly targeted because of their faith. He urged people to educate themselves about Islam from reliable sources, such as academic texts and reputable scholars, and to reject the narratives propagated by those seeking to sow division and hatred. He stressed that Muslims, like followers of any other faith, were committed to peace, justice, and compassion, and that their daily lives reflected these values. He called for solidarity with Muslim communities who often faced suspicion and discrimination due to the actions of a small minority, and for a collective effort to build bridges of understanding and respect. Section 7. Embracing Virtues. Recognizing the good in other faiths. Smirnoff's stance went beyond simply defending Islam. He actively encouraged people to recognize the virtues present in other religions. He believed that every faith tradition held valuable lessons that could enrich our understanding of humanity and spirituality. He saw this open-mindedness not as a betrayal of one's own faith, but as a path towards greater spiritual growth. By recognizing the good in others, he believed, we could overcome prejudice and build a more compassionate and understanding world. This approach, he argued, was essential for fostering peace and harmony in an increasingly interconnected world. Smirnoff's message resonated with many who yearned for a more tolerant and inclusive society. His words served as a powerful reminder that our shared humanity transcended our religious differences. Section 8. A Ripple Effect. Reactions to Smirnoff's message. Smirnoff's statements, particularly his prediction about the future of Russia, sparked a wide range of reactions. Some praised his courage and vision, seeing his words as a call for unity and understanding. Others criticized his views, accusing him of betraying his own faith or pandering to a particular group. The diverse reactions highlighted the complexities of interfaith relations in Russia. Smirnoff's willingness to challenge stereotypes and engage with Islam openly sparked important conversations about religious tolerance, the role of faith in society, and the importance of building bridges between communities. Despite the controversy, Smirnoff's message resonated with many, particularly among younger generations. His words offered a fresh perspective on interfaith relations, one rooted in respect, understanding, and a shared commitment to building a better future. Section 9. A Call for Unity, Learning from Dedication and Humility. Smirnoff's message extended beyond religious boundaries, reaching into the hearts of people from all walks of life. He called for unity and mutual respect, emphasizing the importance of learning from one another's experiences and perspectives. He urged people to emulate the dedication, discipline, and humility he observed in Muslim communities, which he saw as exemplary. These qualities, he believed, were essential not only for personal growth, but also for societal progress and harmony. Smirnoff's insights highlighted that dedication and humility are universal values that transcend cultural and religious boundaries. Smirnoff's message serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of looking beyond our differences and recognizing our shared humanity, which binds us all. By embracing the values of compassion, understanding, and respect, we can build a more just and harmonious world for all, regardless of our backgrounds. His legacy lies in his courage to challenge stereotypes and break down barriers that divide us. His commitment to interfaith dialogue was unwavering, always seeking common ground. He believed deeply in the power of unity and understanding to transform societies. His words continue to inspire dialogue and reflection on the importance of interfaith relations in a world often divided by religious differences, urging us to find commonalities. Smirnoff's legacy reminds us that building bridges of understanding is not only possible, but essential for creating a more peaceful and just world, where everyone can coexist in harmony.